Welcome back, everyone.
Yay. We're here.
I'm Madison, and this is Tess, just
Hi.
in case. How's it going? How's morale today?
Oh, this is a great question. We established this last week, and I feel like now we got to keep it up. Morale's good. What do you you agree?
Yeah, I feel like it was a dreary morning here.
Mm-hmm.
The clouds were in the sky, you know, it was pretty thick. It wasn't looking like there was any sun. And so like maybe we reflected that a little bit. And then the sun kind of started peeking through and we got over our shit. And then we had lunch before we did this, so now we feel much better.
Food does always help.
Yeah,
yes.
It does. It does lighten the mood a little bit.
Something we did today, which is outside of our norm, was so we started working with our friend Bree, and she's going to help with kind of like the social media end of more than social media. I don't want to downplay it, but creative. It's not creative direction either. How would you describe what Bree is doing for us?
Well, I described it to my cousin, which now that I'm thinking about it, it's like not what Bree encompasses fully, is like a marketing manager.
Okay. I mean, yes, because she's so much more than that, but like that's how we can describe it here and now.
Yes.
And she's working with us. And so she sent us a text this morning asking us to come up with 3 things that we want our audience to know about us as individuals. So like I had to come up with 3 and Madison had to come up with 3, which it's like, that should be so simple, right? You know yourself, you could easily come up with 3 facts, but then there's an element of like pressure that you feel because you have to boil it down to 3 things. And that's like when you're in a big group of people and it's like an icebreaker challenge of a fun fact about you. Go ahead, share one. Like, how do I come up with a fun fact that is all encompassing? I don't know. And it doesn't need to be all encompassing, but there's this feeling, at least for me, where it's like, how do I sum myself up for a reader in 3 little blurbs?
Yeah, I mean, I felt the exact same way. Like the question when I received it was daunting to me. I was like, how am I ever going to come up with 3 things? Like all of a sudden my mind goes completely blank. And it's only because I'm thinking like, what is good enough to share?
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
But it's a good exercise.
It's like too much. No, I agree. I think it's a really good exercise. And I think I'm like grateful that Bree pitched it to us in general. Cause it's like, hey, it's Monday morning. What are 3 things that you want to share with everyone that follows you?
You're like,
that encompasses you as a person. And I'm like, oh my God, what a fascinating question. Let me think about this and not get too much in my head about it.
Yeah. Because it's open-ended, right? Like you imagine you answering this question, listener.
Yeah, like what do you want to share with people that you feel like is like, oh yeah, I want someone to know that about me. If they're just looking at our page for the first time, what would I want them to know? No, I'm like, oh shit, my answers. No, I feel like I stand behind my answers now. I've fully moved on from it.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank God.
Yeah, it's fun though. I don't know. There's some days where I do not want to share anything about myself publicly. And I'm like, why do I have a podcast? And then there's other days where I'm like, I love sharing and I love the community and let's go.
Mm-hmm, me too.
And I was telling Madison that the only days where I feel like I don't want to share are days where I don't feel like myself, you know, for whatever reason, like a lower mental health day or whatever it might be occurring. But it's just funny to have like those total opposites trying to balance each other in my head.
No, it is really interesting. And I know that I'm like in my luteal phase right now. And that it's always, there's a shift mentally. And I always think when I'm ovulating, I'm like, it's not going to happen this month, where like I have like more self-doubt in the second half or third half of my cycle. That's not going to happen. And all of a sudden a day comes and I'm like,
There it is.
That's interesting. And like if I read back on my journal entries, it's like I can like truly mark when this happens. Like it's right on the money every time. I know.
Also because you're very regular in that way, so that helps.
Yeah,
right?
It does help because then I'm like, okay, I'm not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is just a normal thing that's happening. It's really interesting.
Which for the record, Madison wasn't always regular. So if you're just getting down on yourself of like, mine aren't that regular. Well, hers wasn't. And yeah.
By the way, I'm like, wait, what's regular?
Your
no,
phases.
yes, true. But I'm thinking like, do people know what the fuck we're talking about?
Oh, probably
because you're like,
not.
she's really regular. And I'm like, regular.
She goes poop every morning.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I mean.
Okay. So I saw, can we change gears?
Yeah, I do. I don't want to talk about poop anymore.
We're not going to. It was 1 second.
It was one time. What's that from?
Mean Girls.
It is?
The hot dog.
Oh, yeah. Good job. Good job.
Woo, okay. I think, right?
No, you're right. I
Making me-
fully see
I'm
the
second
girls.
guessing it,
No,
but
I
yeah.
see the girls. Like when she does the, like, prints out the burn book shit.
Yeah, she's throwing it.
Like,
She's like, oh my
made
God,
out with a hot dog.
Oh, okay.
So morale is high.
Yeah, I saw this conversation online, and I thought it was interesting because I think it kind of captures things that I've been feeling, but then puts it in a way that I wasn't thinking about it. So it essentially stated the question of like, have we lost the art of hanging out?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're like, no, I hang out with my friends all the time, and no, like we haven't, then you dive further into the conversation and it's saying things like, well, because we're busy adults, a lot of times it's hard for us to carve out time in our schedule to go do social things, right? So then when we do go do social things, it's for the most part pretty highly structured. And then there's this emphasis of we have to do all these things and it has to be fun and we have to be out of the house and go because it has to be a full weekend because we go back to work on Monday. You know the narrative, right?
Yes.
And what happens in that whole cycle is you end up not really spending much quality time with your friend that you're with or your friends. So you're not as fulfilled with the interaction. Like there's not as much room for connection or finding peace with each other's company. It's kind of just like, okay, we're together, let's go. And there's absolutely time and place for meeting up and going and doing something fun. I love going out and, doing activities.
Yes.
But I always think back, like, what are my most vivid memories with my friends growing up? And more often than not, it's when I'm just hanging at their houses or we're just doing something casual.
Yeah. Yeah. Tess and I talk about this a lot because we try to redefine like what quality time means to us. And I think it does also depend on the relationship with people. Like there's so many points that you could argue against this, I guess, but we try to find what hanging out is in general and like what is quality time and what makes us feel good with our friends. And I think that like I like that you brought up this point because like I said, we have been talking about it. So I don't know. Like I think like you just have to define it for yourself, I guess. Because like a lot of times, I mean, I personally feel like if we're always on like the go, which there is a time and place for that, but if I'm always on the go, like with my friends, then I'm like, well, where is like the substance in my conversation with these people? If we're like out and about and like other people, there's like other external forces. Like I just want to like sit with you on the couch and just talk with you for as long as possible and like make dinner together and like go do fun errands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Running errands with my friends is like
I fucking love it. Like when I went to go visit my cousin Kelly, I was just like, take me through your full day. Like besides you actually working, like I want to know like what you do on a day-to-day basis. Cause then it feels like I'm like with you and it's fun. Yeah.
Or just, it doesn't even have to be like sitting on the couch, right? But it's just making more time to find rest with your friends.
Yeah.
Which we think like, okay, we work and then we go hang out with our friends and then we rest. Like they're all separate events, but why can't resting and being with your friends coincide?
Right.
Like I think it used to in our life, right? Like in high school, I would go to over my best friend's house and we would just go lay by the pool. And then we'd be like, do you want to go eat some fruit? Yeah, let's go eat some fruit.
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
do
that's
you want to
so
go
true.
for a walk? Let's go for a walk.
Yeah, it's true. And then I would say like someone could argue, well, yeah, it's because those things like going out to a bar or whatever, like wasn't not
accessible.
Yeah, it wasn't accessible to us as kids. Like I didn't really have money to like get in my car and like go drive to LA or something, for example. So I'd be like, okay, well, I'm going to spend time with my friends and watch movies and like eat chips and have an Arizona iced tea. And like, I'm totally fine with that. So then when we became adults, we're like, let's do everything. And then now I'm reverting back to, no, but I do want to sit on the couch and watch movies, or I like want to go for a hike and be in the sun and like tan and read together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think maybe it's just more so of like a shift in us as people where hanging out is just defined differently now to us anyway.
Yeah. And I'm someone who definitely like, I think that I've noticed something within myself where I definitely crave this quality time. Like I put a lot of emphasis on it.
Yes.
And then if I don't, like, again, I'm more than happy to go out and like be in the outside world and in public with my friends. But then if I don't have the balance of seeing them without it, then that's where I feel like, oh shit. And that's why I think that this conversation struck a chord with me, because I realized, oh, okay, there's other people who might be feeling this way.
Same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, well, we're also just like very similar. And I don't know if it could be like introverted, extroverted sort of thing, but I feel that I connect with people deeper when we have that sort of hangout time that is more mellow and more of like a resting thing, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Okay. Let's put it this way. I was out this past weekend. We drove up, we live in San Diego. So we drove up to LA and we were going on a party boat thing at night, but we made it up there a few hours early and we had time to kill. So Philip and I were with one of our other friends and we went for a walk because again, we had time to kill. And then we found a shady spot in the grass on the beach, or like right in front of the beach. And we laid down for probably an hour and a half and just chit chatted in the grass.
Oh my God. Outside in the sun. It's just godly. And I love it.
I felt like, and then we left and we went and met up with all of our friends on the boat, and the music's loud and there's so many sidebar conversations happening that was fun also. But you miss out. Like, I got so much more out of laying in the grass with our friend than going into that loud environment. And yes, it's healthy to have the balance of both. But if you were to ask me, which did you like more, laying in the grass?
Yeah. I also think there's less pressure that way too. Like sometimes I feel like maybe I have like social anxiety when I have to go into group settings at a bar, club or whatever, because it's just like there's so much pressure to like be a certain way, you know? And I find like it's easier for me to revert back to like who I am as a person, obviously, and have like super deep connected conversations with people. And that's how I feel comfortable. So then when I'm in a social setting and I'm like, all right, I gotta ask how your day is, I guess. And then it just like all of a sudden reverts back to like some deep conversation because I can't help but go there. But yeah, so it's nice to not have the pressure and just be with your fucking buddies.
Yeah. So all's to say that I think maybe it's just time for us all. Like if we're starting to feel this way, then how do we reframe hanging out?
Yeah. And we've like talked about this. Dude, I did this on the last podcast too, when you live with girls and you have like hair everywhere. Because we can't blame it on Phil anymore because he has short hair.
Yeah, it's not his fault.
Yeah, dang it. Okay, so yeah, we talk about this a lot. We're like, how can we bring more of like wholesome activities into the friend group? Like, do we need to start bringing board games? Like, what is it?
Are we going to the
cards?
park?
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of initiating it, and I think people would be down for that.
Well, I know they are because we were talking about it this past weekend when we were laying on the grass, and one of our friends was like, yes, like I want to be doing that on my weekday or on my weekend days. Like I want to be doing things that are outside in nature, just chilling with my friends. So I know that it's not obviously like a me thing, but yeah, I think it is a matter of just pitching it and seeing how it lands and who you can drum up excitement with to come.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, great.
Thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I do like that.
And noteworthy.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Like, just to bring it all around, it was valuable to us. It is. Okay, so then I had this idea of doing like a 6-month check-in because it's June, which is crazy shit. Like this is, it's a broken record.
What the hell?
I know, because adults would always be like, it goes so fast when you're older. And I'm like, yeah, shut up. You're old. And now I understand. Now I'm like, it does go fast. Like it is June already. Like I leave for a family vacation in a month's time. And that felt like it was a year that we had planned that. Yeah, it's crazy. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so 6-month check-in regarding our intentions for this year.
So
did you look up what yours were?
Well, hold on. Are we talking like word of the year or intentions?
I mean, it could be any.
Because I don't know what my intentions of the year were.
Maybe just like, I mean, I guess like the word is the intention for the year. It's kind of like our theme for the week. Did we go over that yet?
No, we haven't done theme.
Oh, do you want to?
No, let's stick with 6 months.
Okay.
Go first. I mean, I know mine, but I want to hear your answer.
Okay, so my word was magic, and I've said this on the podcast, and I want to say it again because I think it's so funny when I brought up that my word was magic to Phil, and he's like, "What are you, a magician?" Dude, that shit's
watch
funny.
This fucking
trick.
I
am a magician. Yeah, exactly. I take out my wand, bitch. Yeah. Dude, I wish I was a magician. I could just fucking do shit. That'd be cool, which you kind of are. Like, okay, so anyway, I have, like, at my 6-month check-in, like, I probably check in with this, like, every time I journal. It's just like everything reverts back to magic. it's kind of like picking the theme for the week. It's like, we'll get into it. My theme for this week is trust. So then there's so many things that are going to coincide with that word trust, and it helps you like stay present, and you can like connect everything in your life to this one theme. So that's basically how it has been with magic for me. And I think since I've had so much like spiritual growth this year, like it has been seriously exponential, where I feel like the most expanded I've ever been. And so I think that I've been sticking to my intention wholeheartedly. Like I feel like I haven't wavered from it whatsoever. And I'm proud of that. And I'll continue also, because spirituality and self-growth is like a practice, obviously, that you have to engage in every single day, or else you'll lose it.
Right.
So I set the foundation this year, and it's going to get even crazier, I think, and in a good way. And yeah, excited.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So all's good. Just like,
I think, I don't know. I think that you've done a really amazing job of diving into that. And I'm always really impressed by how you're able to let something guide you, right? Or so like, for example, the word of the year, how you stick with it and you try to find it wherever you go.
Yeah.
And you let it influence how you move throughout life, which is, I don't know. I think it's really special.
Thank you. Well, I just feel like I just gain a better understanding of like myself through the themes I pick, or like the words that I pick, because I think that they came to me for a reason, wherever they came from. I don't know. So then I'm like, okay, let's just see like how many things are connected to this one thing that I'm experiencing. And it just makes everything more special.
To pull the thread through it all and see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember my word of the year was deep confidence, which I think, like looking back on it now, I don't think you really recognize it in yourself on a daily basis. But then when you kind of look back, you're like, okay, no, there it was. I advocated for people when I needed to. I advocated for myself when I needed to. I've made major life decisions that normally would paralyze me. And I've like felt good about those decisions.
Amazing.
Yeah. I'm just thinking, I just think I'm starting to feel more like myself than ever, and not questioning myself as much, or not worrying as much. Like I think I don't want to say I've settled in, but like I'm starting to settle into it, and it feels really nice.
Yeah, that's good. And again, I think it is like a practice. I don't think it's all of a sudden you can claim that maybe who's to say it's not impossible, but claiming like I have deep confidence now, and then you just move forward through life with every decision with deep confidence. That's just, I mean, it could be possible, but I'm just saying
for the majority
don't
of
put
us,
pressure on yourself.
For the majority of us, it's a daily practice.
Yeah.
And some days you got it and some days you don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel pretty good about how we've been able to reel them in. It's only been 6 months.
I know. Imagine so much has happened in this last 6 months. Like I can only imagine.
And I know, for at least speaking on the deep confidence thing, not that it's just my word, but like I've heard that most people, when they venture into this next phase of life, if we can kind of categorize of like your 20s, your 30s, the majority of people have said, oh yeah, your 30s is where it's at in terms of confidence. Like you just don't care as much about what other people think. You just feel more like yourself because you have the life experience for it. Things are so different now. You feel more, for the most part, you feel more stable in where you're at. Not always true, but if you zoom out a little bit, not on a daily basis, but like you look and go, oh, okay, I've kind of got some stuff together. Enough to hold me to the ground.
No, I believe that 30s is going to be fucking fantastic, honestly. Like better than our 20s. For sure. Because also just like growing older, we've done an episode on growing older, but I think it's really fun to like figure out yourself as you grow older, like figuring out what clothes you like to wear and what food you like, and just like who you are as a person. Like I was telling Tess this the other day, and I was like, if I had to give, like if my sister's daughter, my niece, came to me for advice and was asking about something, I would just give her like a sweet piece of advice of like, just wait. Like, just wait. Like, life gets so sweet, and you do experience pain and hardships, but it's pretty fucking incredible, like all together. And as you get older, it just keeps getting better and better because you gain an understanding of yourself in life that you never thought was possible. And that's fucking awesome. So just wait.
Just wait.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
What is your theme of the week? You said it was trust.
Yeah. So when you were like, oh, I want to touch on the theme for the week, I was like, okay. And I thought, like, my mind went blank again. I was like, oh my God, I don't have a theme yet. And I was like, no, yesterday in yoga, they ask you like, okay, what's your mantra? Something you want to come back to. And I was like, trust. Like that was like the first thing that came into my head. So that's my theme for the week.
So it's what you're trying to find this week, or it's what you've been experiencing?
Well, I think that I use trust a lot. Like I revert back to that all the time, especially if I'm doubting myself, and especially in my second phase or third phase, whatever, of my cycle. Like I have like mad self-doubt. So I just, trust myself and my path and like be very unwavering in that.
Okay.
But I think about that probably once a day anyway, but that's like really is my theme for this week because when thoughts come into your head and you're just like, why am I thinking this? You know? And I was like, no, just like trust, like you need to be patient. Everything's working out as it should. So just trust.
Love it. Theme for this week, I think mine is like looking back on this past week is, I don't really know how to word it, but it feels like taking my power back in the sense that I just came out of like a really tough spot physically. And I feel like I've had to rely on my intuition to kind of pull me back. And I needed to realize that the power to heal like is within. It's not necessarily like an external force. Like I can't pay someone. I can to help me, but like that's not necessarily that's not my only thing I can rely on. I need to like bring it back into myself and let myself heal. And then just like on a mental level too, like being able to release certain things instead of putting energy out, trying to like fix it or figure it out. That's to me giving my power away. For me, it's like in these few instances that are coming up in my head, taking my power back is just resting easy, knowing like I know who I am and I know like I live with myself, right? Like I'm aware of all my thoughts and my behaviors, and I know that that's solid and I don't waver in that. So that's me taking my power back of like, I don't need to seek the validation and the approval elsewhere. It's right here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hell yeah. That's a good theme.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, great. I'm excited to see that manifest for you. I mean, you do have the power to make that happen. So
Totally.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. It's just you, like you can come back to it when you need it most, you know?
Yeah, dude, I do know. Yeah, you'll be able to for sure.
Is there anything else you'd like to cover this week, Madison?
Okay. Anything else? Oh, okay. So I have like little cute things that I can say as I like hold this up in front of my fucking face. Okay. So my cousin Kelly and I were talking.
Kelly, do you want a permanent spot on the pod?
Yeah, I know. Right?
You're
dude.
we have a
just
spot
consult
reserved
with each other.
Yeah.
Like it's like me and Tess. It's like me and Kelly, but we just live in different areas.
Yeah.
So I send her audio messages all the time, and every time I send an audio message, I feel like I see like a hot guy wherever I am. So then I was like sending her when I'm walking into the store, and I'm like, oh, dude, I lost my train of thought. That guy was super hot. And then she's like, do you know what we say when we like see people like that, or like we get things, like we receive things? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's awesome. She's like, just be like, thanks universe, more please. I'm like, okay, that's actually so cute. So then I say that with so many things. Like I get in the bath and I have my iced coffee. I'm like, thanks universe, more please. Because then it like has you recognizing like the greatness, and I'm like, just bring it all in, like more. So I think that's really cute.
Cute.
Yeah. I say it all the time. It's
You
fun.
texted me that on Saturday when I sent you something cute, and you're like, thanks universe, more please. And I was like, that's cute.
Yeah.
But like I didn't know why.
Oh yeah, that's why.
Aw.
Yeah, I was like, I really like that, and I'll use it because it also has you like pausing for a moment and realizing like the good in your life. And I think that greatness comes out of that all the time. So yeah, that's one thing. And then and then I saw this the other day. Worrying, that's a hard one. Has 2 R's for me. Okay. Damn it, I have to say it again because I need this to be like a complete thought. Worrying is like worshiping the problem. That's a good one.
Whoa. Hey.
Yeah, I know. Again, has you stop and recognize your patterns and behaviors, and hopefully has you redirect your energy. Dude. I know.
There's little like bits like this that you'll say on the pod, and then they'll impact me so much in the moment. And I want them to be written down on little notes that I can like,
dude, I should make a coffee table book.
Yeah. What the heck?
Yeah. Or we could just make like a card game, but I don't know if I'll get like problems with copyright. Cause like I'm not making this up. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Anyway. Oh, also this is another thing that I was saying to Tess a lot last week is this is obviously a very old phrase. Like it's Latin, Momento Mori, which means remember you must die. And that has been really helpful because sometimes I'll be like stressed out over like a spreadsheet for work. And I'm like, you know, you're going to die, right? Like you are going to die. That's inevitable. Like stop stressing about this and stop using your energy on this. Like get through with it. Be done with it. Move on with your day. It's sunny outside. Look at your cool apartment. Like you're fucking healthy. Great. So yeah.
Please write that in the notes too.
Oh yeah. It's going to go in my coffee table book for everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm down. I would love to see a Conscious Cowboys coffee table book. Who's to say it won't happen? I don't know. Okay. Another thing. I do have like a lot of little notes and I'm like, I don't know if I want to say anything else.
Okay.
I think that's pretty good.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great vibes over here. Also, I don't know if anyone else.
Great vibes over here. High vibes.
If anyone else has noticed this, but our dear friend Lauren did, that Madison is just on a new wave, it seems, like of happiness.
Oh my God.
Stop. I'll cry.
I'll literally blush.
Stop.
Dude, that was so nice. Lauren sent me an audio message at like 6:30 p.m. I don't know, of one of the weekdays last week and was like, Madison, I can tell that like you're so much happier. Like I fact checked this and I looked back at other episodes and you're just different. And I was like, just for someone to like notice that is so amazing. Like to see me in that way and like understand me, I really value that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So shout out Lauren. Love you. It made her day, but it also made mine clearly because I cry. I also cry over everything now. Like I think we have a problem.
No, I definitely cry over a lot of stuff. Honestly, dude,
it's not right.
Have you guys, I know you won't be able to answer this right now, but have you guys seen The Iron Claw? I know that Tess has not seen it, and so I'm not going to give anything away, but I was truly sobbing in that movie.
But like that makes sense. But for me to just cry over the idea that Madison's happy, I mean, I guess that shows how much I love you.
Yes. Yeah. So then that makes even more sense. So I'm like, I think also that's another thing. Like as you get older, I start to cry at more things because I just have a deeper understanding of them. And it's like, I feel that like I don't have that same life as the Iron Claw boys do there. Thank God. But like, I feel the pain. And like, obviously some of the actors, you just like have a place in your heart for them because like they're fucking hot. And then something bad happens to them. And I just get really sad. I'm like, no, that's my boy. And that just happened to them. It mostly happens with boys. Like I could be watching a movie and like something happens to a girl character and I'm like, she'll get through it. And then a boy, something happens. I'm like, no, this is the end of the world. Like they can't get through this. I need to help them.
Can you tell what Madison's sexual orientation is?
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Well, yeah.
This was fun. I'm glad we could end on tears. You know, I feel like it's not a successful episode unless I'm crying. So there's that.
That's true.
No, I'm just
We have
kidding.
successful episodes every time then.
That's right.
No, okay, one last thing that I will say is that when we were doing, just to bring it full circle back to what we were talking about at the beginning of this, is that Brie we'll have to come up with like a name as to what she is for us, you know, so we could just like say it. Consultant extraordinaire. I don't know.
That sounds good to me.
Okay, so Brie, she had us answer this question or like 3 things sent to me like about you stuff. And so I couldn't figure it out. And I was like really in my head and I was comparing my answers to Tess's and I was like, oh my God, mine are just like not good enough. And then Tess was like quiet in her room for like 15 minutes. And then she sends me like a whole list. She was like, you could use any of these and sends me like 6 bullet points of like really good things about me. And I was like, that is a fucking sister for life right there.
You ready
like,
to hear number 6? My favorite, my personal
yeah,
favorite.
I was like, yeah, we're going to write this in our caption.
You want to know some good things about Madison? We'll end here. Okay.
Oh no.
She kicks some major ass on a hike. Some may say record timing.
Okay.
It's insane. These legs are really long and they can get her up the hill quick. And honestly, I'm not that much shorter, but for some reason I can keep up.
You can. You're strong as fuck.
But I huff and puff behind her a little bit. It's probably because I can't breathe through my nose that well. Okay.
That might be
Blame
why.
it on the nose, the septum, damn it.
Yeah.
Her dream afternoon, one of them, besides, being on a yacht off the coast of France or Italy.
Obviously.
Yeah,
Which with Bree's help, we're going to make that happen.
Absolutely. Go Bree.
And with our Feet Finder account.
Great. Oh, by the way, we're going to start a Feet Finder. It's real. It's happening.
Yeah,
I push my ego aside.
Yeah.
One of her dream afternoons, diving into a good book while sunbathing. And I noted that everyone on our who can see our balcony can vouch for that because our balcony is very public facing. And we have no shame. We get out there in a bikini. So don't stalk us. But
yeah, exactly. No one knows what floor we live on.
Yeah. She loves a good voice text convo, not afraid of an 8-minute long back and forth for days or weeks
on end. Yeah.
Because her and Kelly, hey Kelly, will just go back and forth, which I think is really sweet. And she'll be like, listen to this voice memo Kelly sent. And then I'll sit there for 8 minutes on her floor just listening.
Yeah.
Which really shows your retention rate because you're able to absorb 8 minutes of conversation and then reply.
No, it's so true. Actually, like it helps with my comprehension too. Sometimes I'm like, okay, this is just like reading, but like audibly, like hearing things, it's hard for me to grasp them. But when I read things, that's why I like subtitles, is because like I can read it and be like, okay, I understand that now. But when I listen, sometimes I'm like, oh shit, what? So yeah, this has helped me a lot. Audio messages.
Every movie you've ever seen, she just recently watched it, which is so true.
It's
you'd
weird.
You'd be like, oh my God, yeah, in 2001, I watched this one movie. And she's like, no way, I watched that last week. And you're like, okay. And then you'll, like a week later, you'll be like, oh yeah, I just saw this movie. Yeah, it's like this foreign film. It's not even in English. And she's like, yeah, I just watched that this week. And you're like, Madison, how have you seen every movie ever? It doesn't make any sense.
Dude, and then I told Tess, I was like, if I've been at my dad's house within the last month, I've seen like 8 films, like straight up. That's like
Which
what
is
we
cute
do.
that you guys watch movies together. I love that. And at least it helps me because I don't necessarily always like to be the explorer. I'm like, give me a good recommendation and I'll go from there, especially with movies. So I'm glad that you do because then you tell me what to watch. She's incredibly loyal and insightful and supportive and will be the very best friend you've ever had. And she's excuse my French, fucking mega hottie from the inside out. She's sharp. She's witty, an amazing listener, hence, being able to retain 8 minutes worth of conversation.
That's right.
Biggest supporter, best laugh ever, which you can vouch now because you've heard it. And has the best body ever, which you can see that too. And she's just the best person ever. So that's how we're going to end it.
I literally need to come up with like 10 things so I can say it in the next podcast for you.
Yeah. That really showed my Lebo-ness for you.
yeah, I like it. I'm like, more. Oh, shit.
But yeah, I guess if you have friends, you got to love on them, right?
Yeah. Like I saw this thing the other day, I think it was probably on Instagram, and it was like, you're so close to your best friend that what is the right word that I'm looking for? Oh, people perceive you like you're lesbian, that you guys are into each other. Dude. I'm like, yeah, that just is it.
You and Brogan in high school, were you guys
my
called
God.
it?
Absolutely. People had fantasies about us. And I'm like, go ahead.
Yeah.
We don't do that, but okay, think about us.
Sid. Yeah, Sydney and I all the time. And like there was this thing called Form Spring. Have you heard of it?
Yes. What? Wait, remind
It's like
me
an
of what that
anonymous
is.
submission thing that you can like write into people.
Yes.
So people would write into my Form
that
Spring
was fucked up.
and be like, okay, I'm really curious about you and Sydney. Like what's going on there? And I was like, what the fuck? She's my best friend. Chill out.
Like, sorry that we're not allowed to have strong platonic relationships. Like,
yeah.
It's so ridiculous. I remember this one specific time. I think we might have posted it on Facebook. Me and Brogan made dinner together, and I remember this very clearly, ahi tuna with white rice. And I think we made like a mocktail or something, or we had like a drink, and we took a photo of it. Like it was just like us two with this nice dinner, like
You're
romantic
on a date?
dinner. Yeah. And some people had some shit to say the next day at school, and I was like, okay. Jealous.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
I'm getting a muscle twitch in my forehead. What does that mean?
Dude, just like pure alarm in your eyes.
Whoa,
I think
trippy.
Maybe it's just like this pressure of being on air. Yeah. I mean, kind of. All right. Well, anyway,
I'm gonna
thank
go
you
mend
so
my
much
forehead,
for listening. Yeah. Yeah, you need to just release that pressure up there. thanks for listening, and we'll be back next week.
Yes, you will.
We will.
Okay.
For sure. I had to like think about that, and I was like, yeah, we have a big week ahead. So if anyone else has a big week ahead, we're gonna crush it, all of us.
You can do it.
Pick a theme for the week and just go forward and nail it.
Enjoy it, you guys.
Yeah, and enjoy because remember, we all are gonna die.
And it's called what?
Memento Mori.
Memento Mori.
That's right. Ancient, philosophical. Yeah, that's right. It's Stoicism, basically. If you guys know that movement, you'll be very aware of that term. Anyway,
bye. Love you.
Bye. Thanks for listening.